If it is, this is going to be a real interesting edit.
Turning to the camera. All right, are we locked in for a little bit? Are we settled in?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to start doing my nails again.
Okay.
Do I go with the red or the blue?
The blue.
I got like a nice like magenta-y red and a kind of like a dark teal.
Oh, dark teal for sure.
Okay.
I was gonna say red is very Christmas, but
I feel like I've used this one a bunch and I have not used the magenta. But put it up to a question and I'll abide by that. Ooh, it is getting a little glooby.
yeah,
See how this holds up
a
because
very
it's
glooby room.
I've had this. This was a gift actually from producer Joe. Fans of the channel.
Also big fan of Frank the Snake. There was a new Frank the Snake video, and so I had to make sure Joe saw it. And that involved watching a bunch of old ones that I wasn't sure if she had seen.
Anyway, she bought me a set of Holotaco nail polish a while back. And it has held up much nicer than the dollar store bullshit that I was buying for myself, but it is getting a little gloomy. For a long time, I did not have the opportunity to paint my nails very often because I worked in a kitchen.
True. And you don't anymore. I'm going to... This is
Sorry about the grapple, by the way. Ooh, yeah, no, that's forming... That's making a little string of polish. I think that's too... I'll make it work.
You gotta put it in one of those industrial paint shakers.
I mean, yeah, let me give this a good...
Here's the...
Oh, that was your Discord notification.
Oh, right. I should mute that. Like I said, this will be a fun edit.
Let me give that a good shake. You're not supposed to shake it. You put it between your palms and you kind of roll. If you shake it, you can introduce bubbles. That's a tip from me to all the whoever in the audience.
It's not the grappling hook's fault. This is what I want to say.
It's the interface of the grappling hook and the rest of the movement schema.
Yeah, this is like, when you think of like NES Castlevania, and you think about like the lack of air control, and you think about when you're making a jump and you push the button and then it's in God's hands, and God's hand says, actually, a merman also jumps out at you, and you are destined for the pit. And there's that element of just like, okay, that one was on me though.
That one was you. But you were thinking about the Castlevania jump, but you forgot that you have air control.
Exactly. But that's like the thing, right? It's one of those, like, it is such NES era feeling when it is just like, oh, what is happening here is I don't even know if I want to say like unintended difficulty, but it's just like you know that, like, oh, the difficulty that comes from, poorly considered controls or just like, not induced. What's the word I'm looking? Oh, I can't freeze him, huh? Nope. Can I just stand on him? Nope. Can I charge freeze him? Is that how charge works?
I think this nail polish is too gloopy.
Nope, I suppose I can't charge freeze him unless there's another stage of charge.
No.
The charge. That's the somersault noise, but just cutting itself off.
Yes.
The difficulty that comes from... I am going to... There is the difficulty that is the design, the intended, that is like the placement of the enemies or the patterns of the boss and looking for the weak point and all of that. And then there is the difficulty of like, yeah, sometimes just like you push a button and then a sequence of events happens that you cannot control and you could not have been informed about beforehand. And this is feeling so much like that second time, the second type, which
you bumped it.
Where it's just like, you know, it's the frustrating kind of difficulty because it's like, it's not this like, I'm not even playing the game that was set before me. I'm like, you know, when you're trying to play cards and then you don't have fingernails, but the card is like flat welded to the table because it's like a smooth tile or something.
Sure.
And it's just like, yeah, no, I'm not encountering the challenge of the game. There is a layer of just interaction with the pieces required for the system that is what's challenging me. And it's just like, I never had interest in challenging that. It's, if that layer is in the game, it's going to like push me off of, I'm going to be pushed off by something that is not even the game's fault.
So is the argument that you're making that the jumping around isn't the game? I'm just
it's a good question.
I said that in a way that sounded kind of shitty, but like you're proposing that like Samus moving and jumping is an interface that allows you to access the game, which is a separate thing from Samus simply moving and jumping around. And I think there might be something there.
I mean, first of all, I actually completely appreciate that style of question. Those are my favorite questions to be asked in like therapy, because it's just like, hey,
Clang.
real quick, let's investigate let's investigate the thing you just said to make sure that you fully understand it. And I really do appreciate that. If I'm being an asshole, I would like to be called on it because I would like to not be.
Sure.
But
because I'll be honest, at first I was like, what is this dude saying? That's crazy. But then I thought about it a little bit. And I was like, hold on, there might be something here.
Yeah, like, I don't think this section is meant to be this challenging, right? Like, it's just like, once you have the grappling hook, you simply do it. And, like, sure, there's a level of, like... There is a level of execution that the game is asking of you, but I would say that, like, the level of execution being asked here is so much... is out of pace with things asked of us in
there he is.
Other parts of the game, right? So, yeah, like honestly, like, it's not a hard, like, it could be made easier by making this gap bigger so that way you're clanging off the edges differently. There was something about
Sure.
the momentum of building speed after you clang into the wall, that it's just like, if you hit the wall high enough, you'll build up that momentum to move in, otherwise you'll just go down. Like, there's a lot of these things where it's just like, no, the challenge of this is like, do you understand grapple to the guy and then, you know, grapple off of an enemy? It shouldn't be landing the grapple. It's like, that is a
why not?
Because like the hard part about this is so much more out of my hands. Like, it felt more like luck whether I land on this platform than the thing which is like the obvious place challenge of we have changed what you're grappling to.
I don't know about that. You control the buttons you press.
But it feels like I'm pressing the buttons the same way every time, and it is having different results. Like, you look at this with like board games or something, right? Like, board games are so accessible because like, I'm going to place this piece here and it will always do it. Like, you know, if you've ever tried to play like chess on a touch screen and it's like, I'm going to press pawn and then I'm going to press C4. That sounds like an actual move, right? And then sometimes it's just like, oh, you said C5? Got it. And then it's just like, no, now I have to do the run back to try and move that pawn again. It's just like, you know, there is It is extreme. This is. I was thinking about this last night because I was thinking about. Welcome to the monologue part. Hey, did you hear
we're
about this?
podcasting now.
I've been listening to podcasts and they're talking about like what is the purpose of game reviews and like 7 out of 10 and like then people were talking about like, oh, what about more like a Michelin star system? Like if you have the lowest rank of a Michelin star, that is still like this is worth your time. Like if you are not worth somebody's time, you're doing that. And like a thing that I was thinking of like, all right, here we're going on the freaking full trail now. I'm thinking I want to do a review scale. I'm just calling it 4 out of 5. By default, everything has 4 out of 5 stars. And then there's an element of like, because there's the idea of like invisible goods, invisible services. You know how like there are things in this life that are vital, but you do not notice them until there is a problem with them, you know?
Sure.
Like things you take for granted. And I think that is absolutely a big thing in games because gamers are a easily critiqued audience. In the ideas of just like, yeah, most games are fine. Like we shouldn't be punishing games for not, pushing bound. Like if you get a sequel that is just like, oh, it's just more of this game, that's fine. You should still get a 4 out of 5 for that. Like there's a reason why 7 out of 10 is kind of like the low end because like so much stuff is just like purely decent. So that's why my thought is just like, okay, we start 4 out of 5, and then there's 3 or 4 things you can get dinged on, and it's about like, here is something that is sort of like, I don't want to say like default, but maybe kind of expected. There are ways that things can be so underbaked or broken in a way that they take you out of the immersion, as I think is the words I went on. Things that like they're so bad that suddenly you notice them. Which is just like, if something is technically broken, if it's jank, if it's, if you're losing saves, that knocks off a star. Something about, at some point with something like story or like visuals and audios, it's all about, that's always to taste, but it's just like, as long as it's present, as long as you've done a step above like whatever the default Unity print numbers to screen function is, as long as you've gone a step above that, then you're fine. And like sometimes you can use that stuff and make it thematic, but it's just like, polished enough that it doesn't, nobody is going to assume lack of effort, and then there are things that you can get bonus stars for, which is just like, oh, this is novel. This is, this is an idea we haven't seen before. Or just like, oh, this is actually like super polished. This is quality of life stuff that like goes above and beyond what we expect for something that is like just fine. Whether that's quality of life, like in terms of just like, oh, here's gameplay stuff that is, if you want to turn this off, if you think that's trouble, if it's accessibility stuff, if it's, mod capability, whatever. Because like 4 out of 5 ain't bad. But so in thinking about this, the thing that I realized is like, a big problem I have is I assume I can read a lot of intentionality into designers, which is like, yeah. I think as somebody who, went to school for games, has worked on games, has done a lot of things, like when you are that deep into the process, when you've been through it yourself, you kind of understand like, oh, looking back at my own works, I can see the things that happened by intent and the things that happened accidentally. And you start to understand like I'm still projecting myself, but like I'm, as somebody, I am still projecting one game designer onto another, and that is better than projecting pure guesses onto somebody else.
Sure.
But like I do try to not. I'm trying to get better at catching when I am just like presuming intentionality. I don't know where I was going with this. I think I'm just seeing like, I know that's a problem I have. I'm trying to get better at it, but but that's like the thing. Like if we want to say this is a search action game, then I feel like we don't want to. Or maybe that's it. The same kind of thing. Like as a designer, I often want to see my players succeed at the challenges I have laid out before them using the tools I have given them. And like, again, we have an enemy, we have a grappling hook, we have a hole to get over. Like, it's pretty clear like what I think the sort of like the goal set ahead of us, the challenge set here is. So like, if I were designing this game and I watch players struggle to land it, like, you've cleared the challenge, and then there's this other bit that screws you over that is sort of out of your hands. Like, yes, you control the buttons, but like, you know me, you know how many games I play. Like, this ledge is not a boss level, but it is harder than the challenge set before it, you know?
I guess.
Maybe it's just today. Like, listen, you want to get into the part about, like, you know, death of the author, and it's like, well, yeah, if this is the hardest part of the game, then that's what you got to be playing the game for. We can talk about that, and it can be valid, but like, I don't know. I
don't want to.
I like the authored feeling.
I don't want to sit here and say I think you're incorrect about the experience you just had, because I did just see you have the experience. So like, yeah, that's a hard jump to make. That's a hard needle to thread. You're not wrong. But hey, you fell back in the water.
I did, because I was trying to see if I could wall jump up that wall, but that is an insane. Or like, that's the other part, right? Like, if I'm face planting because I am trying to, you know, use the tools in like their most edge casey way, it's just like, yeah, okay. I don't get mad when I mess up a wall jump because I'm trying to sequence break, but like, this is, hey, can we talk about Super Mario World for a minute? Because I always want to talk about Super Mario World.
Or wow.
That you know that like first Star Road secret exit from a normal map where like it's the if you hit the Switch Palace, there's that ramp block and you just run up the wall to the keyhole?
Yes.
And
Donut Plains 1.
Yes. And so that's the thing about it, right? Like, there's actually like, there are 3 like quote unquote intended ways to approach that, or at least 2 intended and then a third like accepted and totally reasonable one, right? Because you play through the level and you just don't engage with that because you don't have the tools in front of you. You hit the Switch Palace and then you play through the level.
And then you come back and you run up the thing.
Right. Or you get you get the cape and you do your weird jump where you manage to get the flight, but you kill all your linear momentum so that way you can just I don't know how I caught back on that. That was cool for a second. And you know, you do it cape style and you basically fly vertically and land and get it. Like,
I'm pretty sure you can also just
can you like,
I forget what the name of the thing is, where you know where you're in that second fly state where you're feathering it up and down and you're going boom wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Boom wow. I think if you just do that, I'm pretty sure you can do that through the whole level and then just like get high enough at the end that you're just there.
That also feels to me like like that to me is like, that's the sequence break. That is just like, maybe it's unintended, but if you can manage to pull it off, if you can. Again, this is sort of like game design. Like, if I'm giving my players tools, like, I do want to give them like, sometimes they're very discreet, you know, like a key opens a door. Sometimes you give it like a range. So like, you know, a Zelda bomb can bomb a crack in a wall, or it can damage enemies, or, you know, maybe some other things. Then you get into the sort of like systemic interactions. Like, okay, maybe there's a you know, a bomb plant over there, but I can use the boomerang to bring it over here and then throw it at the wall, or something like that, right? So like, you can design like, here there's a range of ways to use this, not a single intended use. But like, some of those speedrun things are like at the very edge of just like, once you have to be pixel perfect with things, like, you know, that's why we have like, you know, the pixel perfect platformers as like a genre name that we use, because it's just like, yeah, sometimes there are designs being like, yes, we are being this, you know, demanding of you, but that is not most games, so I'm like never going to begin by assuming that that was the design intent to have to be pixel perfect. Ow, what the This is like the part in Metal Gear Solid 5 where you're walking through the hospital room where everybody's dead and you're all creepy and you put the blood across your face because you're a punished snake.
It's funny that you bring up Metal Gear, because I was thinking about that hallway where it's hard to jump through the little gap with your grappling hook, and I'm just like, I don't know. Death Stranding made a game that's like 80% trying to traverse a space. Everybody fucking ate that shit up. What if it was hard to jump through a little gap? What if it was hard to walk over a hill?
Hey, listen, I am all about freaking baby steps. Like, I did not buy that game, but I know that I would like... but again, that's my thing. Like, that is the main thing of that game. That is not a Metroidvania that makes you do that. And the tools that they are giving you are clearly, like, to help you engage with that. It's like, no, the challenge, like... You know, the skill floor is very specifically put there. It's just like, yeah, no, you have to control each foot individually, and it does this, and everything you do is a tricky thing. Versus, like, you know, this is a game about exploring a world and about doing the thing, and you're going to find the morph ball so you can get into the morph ball thing. Like, in a way, it's almost like if I was making a Metroid and somebody was just like, oh yeah, it's also about how, you know, stupid complex the whatever you call it is, you know, the pixel perfection required of something, I'm just like, no, I would have taken that out if I had more time to revise or do whatever, you know, like maybe that's a me thing, maybe that is definitely me projecting, but like, you know, it's not just the, like, you know,
seems like a long road to walk to get to. I didn't like that jump.
I don't want to.
I flummoxed him.
I don't want to say I didn't like it. Like, it was frustrating. You've seen me play stupid games. You've seen me try to, like, speedrun games that I've never played before. Like I am not somebody who is against, like, doing the hard thing, but there is definitely, like, I don't know. I think a lot of times when I'm presuming intentionality, I believe I am, like, sensing patterns about, like, what has been, you know, the sort of patterns of what's presented to me so far in a game. And it's just like, yeah, no, the hard parts of this game is sometimes they'll just put an energy tank in the ceiling just because, and like maybe eventually you'll come back to it and there'll be a way to, you know, be something to draw your attention to it. And just, man, the way that you hit these is so weird. But like it is this, so like everything about this game says it's about the discovery and about the being lost and about that. And
I say that. I've been telling you that. Don't listen to me.
But that also, you know, groks, don't like that word anymore. That also reckons with just like what I've you know, personally observed or whatever.
Fucked up what they did to that word.
Yeah.
Like, Stranger in a Strange Land is such a fucking weird book, and they turned it into slop.
Come on, man.
Elon Musk, if you don't want your friends to eat you after you die as like a show of community and togetherness, you shouldn't be allowed to name your thing Grok.
He hasn't considered that because he doesn't have friends.
True.
He's never known what a friend is.
Nick, look out! It's Fantoon, the boss of the wrecked ship!